Good evening. Welcome to M1's English language news, Hungary Reports. I'm Híradó with today's news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Let's get started. Hungarian economic growth was almost record-breaking in the first quarter of 2019. The last time it grew at this rate was 19 years ago. The adjusted 5.2% growth was unique in the European Union. The average of the 28 member states is at 1.5% GDP growth, and that same number in the Eurozone countries was even lower at 1.2%. The government expects Hungary's performance to stay above the EU average for a while.
Cranes are everywhere in central Budapest. One of Hungary's biggest apartment communities are being built here. What's more, there are hardly any cities or towns where some kind of construction isn't ongoing. Lots of apartments, factories and service centers are being built. The investment projects are the cause of Hungary's economic development. According to a report by the Central Statistical Office, GDP grew at an exceptional rate by 5.3% according to raw data. The last time GDP growth was that high was almost 20 years ago, but back then state debt was also increasing. In contrast, it's shrinking year after year now, along with the state budget deficit. The Minister of Finance, Mihály Varga, said that along with the growing employment rate, rising wages and the continuously increasing exports also played a role in putting Hungary in the #1 spot for the fastest growing GDP in the European Union. The Hungarian economy performed more than 3 times better than the EU average and more than 4 times better than the Eurozone. The Ministry of Finance calculates that the economy will keep its momentum and GDP could grow by at least 4.1% this year and next year at an even higher rate than estimated. The Hungarian economy is always capable of surprises, and experts usually underestimated growth indicators in recent years compared to what really happened. With this 4.1, we feel that we're among the more optimist analysts. But according to our hopes, changes in the industry and investments, growing wages, consumption and domestic demand could point to an around 4% growth, he explained. The population can also benefit from high economic growth, mostly because if the GDP grows, then wages also grow.
A completely new political dimension has opened up in Hungarian-American relations. We need to keep this momentum up in order to reach even more successful economic relations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade said at the opening ceremony of the new vice consulate in Houston, Texas. Péter Szijjártó emphasized that thanks to the new mission, the community of 3,000 Hungarians living in the area can take care of their affairs with the Hungarian state even more easily.
This vice consulate makes it easier for the local Hungarian community to do certain things related to the Hungarian state. For example, Hungarian citizens can cast their votes for the European parliamentary elections here. This mission will have 2 purposes: foreign trade affairs and consular affairs. This clearly shows what the Hungarian foreign policy focuses on: foreign trade and links to Hungarian communities.
After his meeting with Viktor Orbán, Donald Trump is said to have felt like they could be twins. The U.S. ambassador to Hungary told the Hungarian news portal 444.hu. According to David Kornstein, the U.S. president also told Viktor Orbán that not everyone understands them or loves them, but as he put it, people should look at their achievements.
At the end, Trump told Orbán that he feels like they could be twins, was the title of an interview with the U.S. ambassador to Hungary, published by the Hungarian news portal 444.hu. David Kornstein was there when Donald Trump and Viktor Orbán met in Washington, D.C. The portal asked the ambassador about the talks, which topics the leaders talked about, and what atmosphere was like. David Kornstein told the online news portal that it became very clear at the meeting what these 2 people are like, and at the end the president told Viktor Orbán that it's almost like they're twins. The ambassador added that Donald Trump also said that though not everyone agrees with them, they must look at their successes.
Thank you very much.
Viktor Orbán and President Trump met in the White House on Monday. Journalists were invited to the beginning of the talks, which is when the U.S. president said that Viktor Orbán has done a great job protecting Hungary and Christian communities.
Viktor Orban has done a tremendous job in so many different ways, highly respected all over Europe. Probably, like me, a little bit controversial, but that's okay. That's okay. You've done a good job, and you've kept your country safe.
Afterwards, President Trump and the Prime Minister talked in private, together with John Bolton, the President's National Security Advisor, and the Hungarian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Péter Szijjártó, for longer than planned, 40 minutes. Then the Hungarian delegation and representatives of the U.S. cabinet continued their talks at a plenary session, where David Cornstein was also present. His Excellency is the U.S. ambassador to Hungary since last summer. In his interview to 444, David Cornstein also said that the meeting, running longer than planned, reflects the U.S. president's style well, since he likes to meet people, and if he's interested in someone and has many questions, then his meeting can last longer than expected. He added that the U.S. president focuses on success. If he sees that he can reach success with someone, then he creates a good relationship with them. David Cornstein stated that Donald Trump and Viktor Orban see the world similarly, and that the meeting met its objectives in every aspect.
A new church has been consecrated in Kurdistan in Iraq with the help of the Hungarian government. After its consecration, the State Secretary for the Aid of Persecuted Christians told M1 News that the St. George Chapel of the Assyrian Eastern Church was built with financial support from the Hungary Helps program for a community who fled to this region from the so-called Islamic State. Tristan Azbey emphasized that the most persecuted religion in the world is currently Christianity, and it is one of the biggest humanitarian crises of our times. The Hungarian government donated more than 431,000 euros for the construction of the church.
Persecuted Christian communities can always count on Hungary, and that Hungary will help them stay in their home countries. This is what they want. They expressed it when they thanked us for our support. And not just because they love their homes, but because they understand the responsibility for preserving Christian communities in the Middle East, the cradle of Christianity.
The Hungarian anthem can once again be sung at public events in Slovakia. The Slovakian legislature modified the law that would have restricted the singing of other countries' anthems. The former highly debated law amendment was adopted by the Bratislava parliament at the end of March and caused quite the controversy. They now removed the part of the law pertaining to penalties, and the National Assembly decided on Wednesday that no one can be sentenced for singing or playing a foreign country's anthem, such as Hungary's, in Slovakia. The future of traditions is the motto of this year's Museum May Day. This weekend, more than 100 museums and galleries are taking over the building and the garden of the Hungarian National Museum in downtown Budapest. The first day of the festivities is on International Museum Day, and for that occasion, the National Museum is open for visitors until 10 p.m. An emblematic painter from Transdanubia, or the part of Hungary to the west of the Danube, Lajos Vesely has opened a temporary exhibit at the Egri Museum in Badacsony-Tomoly. The artist, known for his love of experimentation, doesn't just work on paintings. He makes objects and flat plastic art pieces, which are impressions of humanity and the world around him. The chamber-style exhibit presents a newer part of contemporary Hungarian fine arts. That's all for today. You can catch Hungary reports after the 11 p.m. Hungarian news and online. Stick around for other foreign language news broadcasts. Thanks for watching. Good night.